Hey, how's it going, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back to the weekend and an engine stab. Hopefully get this thing wrapped up today. I had a handful of you wanting to know what happened with the Jeep. So it wasn't a hydrolocked engine, like I said. Absolute catastrophic failure. Let me show you this clip first.
See this or not, but cylinder 4 is gone. Here, can you hold the light? Can you come around here and hold the light for me? Shine it up in there like so. All right, so here's 4. I should not be able to do that. And if you look, damn, this is hard. Okay, move the flashlight just a hair. If you look,
hey, if you come over here, you can see it good.
Can you see it? It's just wrist pin and rod. Cool. Rock and roll.
It's fucking sick.
So that was cylinder 4. That was where our issue was. Piston is wedged all the way up at the top. And that's why we couldn't get it to turn over.
So yeah, man, whatever happened, it beat it up so bad there was literally no piston left. I kept the rod just because I thought that was kind of unique and the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. But at any rate, had a handful of you wanting a update on the Harbor Freight 56-inch toolbox. Look, it's been nothing shy of awesome, that's for sure. I haven't had any issues with it yet. I still want to get the locker portion that goes to the side. Not at a financial point where I can afford to do that right now. So I'm just using this for overflow, but I've been putting stuff in it, taking stuff out of it, kind of moving stuff around. I got a lot going on with it, but starting off at the top drawer, and I'll bring you guys in a little bit closer. This is kind of where I keep all the extra stuff, depending on the vehicles we're working on. So like some of the stuff is specialty, nuts, bolts, fasteners. I'll just show you. All right, so first drawer up, like I said, just kind of like some nuts, bolts, specialty things. So this hose is actually off of a 6-liter Ford, and it's just an extra factory piece of hose. It did have a little tear on one end. I was able to cut it off, but we had already replaced it since, but I figured, you know what, there's gonna be a point where we might need that. Also, here's another piece of bulk hose. I believe it's like 3/4 inch for, it's like a ventilation for fuel filler necks. So not the portion where you dump the fuel in, but the other part that comes back up. I forget what that's called, I'm sorry. Any rate, then on the 6-liter, these are always handy to have. We bought an extra one on the offset chance that the other one was going to be leaking, but the other one didn't leak. So we just kept it because that's usually a leaky culprit. So we just hang on to that. We got some dielectric grease for electrical connectors, clear silicone, because there are times that you're going to need that. Kind of a be-all fix-all here. You guys know it, JB Weld. There's sometimes you just need some epoxy for certain things. Like I said, the magnetic trays, things of that nature. I've also got some of these connectors for fuel lines, things like that from Chrysler. Pretty handy to have if you have some good ones. Sometimes the new fuel pumps come with them. Most times they don't. And I just had a handful of these that I've been collecting up over the years for backups, really. And then some washers, some nuts, bolts. We don't have to go into the whole thing. And then this little tray here is just some other little organizer that I picked up from AutoZone, but like I had a freeze plug that was the wrong size, but so cheap it was too cheap to send back. Another little rebuild that I was messing with. I had some extra fuel injector O-rings, so I keep those should I ever need them. And then I've got a handful of these extra valve cover grommets that are just happen to be extra. I think they came out of another kit too. And then Chevy, they're kind of notorious for these little oversized staples to hold the shift cable in place. There's been a handful of times customers have come in and the reason why their cable is slipping this way or that way is because that staple's gone. So we just hang on to an extra one because they are hard to come by. Then in this kit I've got some Jeep exhaust hardware that I've just had laying about, and I've got a couple of drive shaft bolts that I found from my other toolbox I decided to bring to work as well. All right, going in drawer number 2. So my boss has kind of made this his drawer too. here's my timing light. It's the Craftsman timing light. And then of course, because he does primarily all the timing checking for like smogs and things like that, he's got his digital Matco in here. So it's just easy for him to grab. My toolbox is now closer to the smog machine than his, so he just puts it in there. It's whatever. Shop box. I got my OTC branded test light. This thing's amazing. If I can find a link to the OTC branded test light or the Craftsman timing light, I bought both of those off of Amazon. I'll put links down in the description. I've also got the Power Probe 3. I picked this up a while back from the Cornwall rep. I like the green. I don't use it a lot, but we got a guy here that's been using the heck out of his. I'm hoping that I'll kind of learn from some of the things that he uses it for and what I can and cannot use it for and that kind of thing. Kind of get a little bit more training on that, if you will. Third drawer, I'm not sure if you guys can see it yet, but I'll open it up just to see. I might have to slide you guys back. Give me a second. All right, so third drawer, I got my veneer caliper from Harbor Freight. Thing works great when you're trying to get an idea of diameter of holes, bearings, bushings, rotors, things like that. Then I have my actual outside rotor micrometer. This thing comes in handy. It's kind of like a measurement / miscellaneous kind of drawer. You need to have a tape measure. There's plenty of things you're gonna need a tape measure for. Feeler gauges for adjusting valve clearance, things like that. I've got a Matco spark plug gapping tool. I also still have my Craftsman spark plug gapping tool here. A little machinist ruler that I picked up from my gear wrench rep. I got this big size temperature gauge for checking AC efficiency in the car. I believe this is a 5-pound magnet. Picked that up from Matco because sometimes you just need a little bit more to grab onto. And then most recently I picked this style of magnet up, which you can bend and flex this thing to your desire. And let me tell you, if you're working on 6 liters trying to get a glow plug out, this thing is amazing. So it's great to have. I had to pick something like that up. I've also got the Cornwall Blacklight UV light. If you guys haven't seen the video on what I think the best UV light is, I'll try to put a card up here somewhere for you guys to check it out. But everyone loves this light at the shop. We use it all the time. And then of course the yellow UV glasses to check for leaks. All right, system information for vehicles that I've been doing a lot of work on, or just stuff that I've printed off that I didn't want to exactly waste a tree and throw away kind of thing. So I've got this 2006 Ford Escape with a 3-liter. I haven't created a 3-liter folder yet, but I'm planning on it because I actually have a 3-liter engine in my Mariner. But this was for an oil pan gasket job that I did, some torque specs, things like that. I've also got some other information about timing that I just started collecting information on. This was on a Honda 2-liter engine, timing belt and everything else that I just got done doing, and valve clearances. So I put a folder together for that because we have the 2-liter at the house that we're going to be putting in that Honda Civic. So I thought that was going to be important to do. This one right here, this next one, is I didn't put a VIN number on this or what it was. Hang on. Got all my folders mixed up here. Yeah, of course I'm losing stuff. This one was for 6.6 turbo diesel. I didn't mark the folder, but I have run into Duramax engines where I've needed specs, so I'm not trying to reprint everything all the time. And of course the Ford 6-liter folder, and then of course because I have a GMC with a 5.3, I started developing a 5.3 folder. So little by little, as I do repairs on these vehicles, I just collect the information in a couple of folders. Now I'm not planning on collecting information on every single car. I'm not trying to be all data for everything, but there are a handful of vehicles that I currently own and engines that I work on all the time where I find it's just helpful to have the information available. So that's what that's all about. All right, then in here, I don't use this a lot, but they are handy to have when you need them. This is the snap-on terminal tool to be able to take it apart and then put it back together. So it's a nice little kit to have for sure. Fourth drawer, file. See, I kind of marked everything here so that way everyone knows where stuff is for the most part. Still playing with it. But files, picks, then I have these Schrader valve threading and cleaning tools from Matco. I got also some trim tools in here for interior work. A couple of Harbor Freight specials that lasted, the rest of them broke. And then my old trim stick from Chrysler. Also, it's nice to have a little wire brush or a nylon brush for certain things, but I don't want to use these for batteries. We have some brushes for batteries specifically. This is for other things that you don't want to get chemicals and whatnot on, so keep those in there. We got these Van Plier scissors, still using those. They still rock, been using them for a long time. This little Cornwell Schrader valve removal tool. I got some longer carbide bits that I got from a buddy in college. I got the shorter kit from Mac from a while back. Been hanging on to those. I've got this scraping tool that we got from Max. That thing's been cool. I've got a couple of other little rethread things here. This is an oxygen sensor rethreader, and then this one's for a spark plug. So, oxygen sensor rethreader, spark plug hole rethreader. Anywho, haven't used those yet, which is why they're still in the package, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, so kind of nice having those. I got that Lyle belt stretch tool, which you guys have probably seen. Haven't used that yet either, but we have in the past, and so it's nice to have that. I've also got these non-marring picks that I picked up from O'Reilly's. Those are nice for interior work as well. And then of course I have a Precision Matco screwdriver set for smaller things. One of the hook and picks that I have here, these are all snap-on picks and files, but this is the last short snap-on pick that I have, and you can see the kind of angle that I've put on this. And at one point in time this was straight and then it had the hook. Well, I kind of bent it to my desire using a vise. It didn't snap in half, and I've been using it this way for many years now. That's why I like the expensive picks over the cheaper ones. The cheaper ones just break. All right, so the last drawer on this side is for my motorcycle gear. I put my jacket, jeans, backpack, that kind of stuff in there. And I really try to keep this one empty. So there's absolutely nothing in this one except for maybe my heat sleeves. That's it. So that's what I'm pretty much keeping in there. I don't have any issues with the drawers so far. Everything seems to work real well. Let's go to the other side and I'll show you some of the main drawers. All right, starting off with the top drawer, and again, I'm not sure how well you guys can see things, but I'll just pull them out and kind of show you in front of the camera. First thing up is I got this Autocraft vacuum deal. I've got a Drill Master heat gun, which comes in handy. I've got my snap-on DVOM, which I keep in here. And then I've got some other little tidbits in here that I'll pick the camera up and show you. I got my Solus Edge on the ready. Temp gun from Ryobi. Craftsman stethoscope. I just brought the rivet gun to work, and I've got the tools to fix that and clean it in here. Now I'm gonna pick the camera up and show you kind of down in here so I don't have to take everything out, and then I'll show you the top of the box. All right, so far for little tidbits and whatnots, we got some vacuum plug-offs and little vacuum testing things that I keep in there. That goes hand in hand with that. I've also got these little Y-ends, T-ends, and straight shots. These are to fix mostly like vacuum lines as well as window washer fluid tubes. Rodents have a tendency of chewing on those. Extra little vacuum pieces that I picked up off of this old 4-liter that we're putting in this Jeep. The old one just had these attached to it, so I kept those on the offset chance we needed those or for a repair or something. An assortment of symmetric O-rings, some E-clips, butane for this soldering deal here. I got this from Home Depot, Bernzomatic, some soldering iron. These are little tiny replacement needles for some back pin probes, so I can jam those in there. You use it for testing. Bigger soldering wire, electrical tape, liquid electrical tape. This thing is actually ingenious to have for multiple purposes, but I'll show you a video clip here where I use this to hold the timing belt down on the camshafts while I was doing that. And of course you guys have seen this, which is the electrical connectors that I have for Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler products. Over here I've got this kit that I picked up from when he was a Cornwall rep, but it's an assortment of different Schrader valves, the tools to remove them, and some extra caps. I also picked up this O-ring kit for AC. Because sometimes you need the smaller ones or the thinner ones, and those we often run out of. This marine heat shrink is the bee's knees. I get that from Harbor Freight as well. A lot of the stuff that you're going to run into that you're going to use, you can get from the auto parts store or Harbor Freight. So let me just put some of this stuff back, and we will go on to our next drawer. The top, before we go. So let me close this top drawer. I've got the Milwaukee charger, the Monster Bluetooth speaker, my Matco charger, little oil can. This helps for doing wet compression tests, the Monster rivet gun, some 3/16 rivets, some masking tape, white lithium grease. These are the only books that I have left from Chrysler, but they're kind of nice to have hanging around for certain things. I brought them in. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them yet. The vices come in handy. Somebody did point out that I should ask them about the pipe jaws that go in here that it didn't come with, even though it showed that it did. It's been so long now, and I'm not sure where the receipt is. I don't know that they'll actually do anything for me with that. But all right, now we're gonna get ready to go into drawer number 2. Drawer number 2 is my wrench drawer. So I've got the Snap-on SAE and metric going from, I believe it's 10 millimeter all the way up to 19, and then 5/16 all the way up to 3/4 inch. I got these, I guess they're called tappet wrenches, didn't know that. They're just really ultra thin wrenches that work great for like breaking loose diesel fuel lines and things like that. I guess they must be pretty popular because I've been to Home Depot a couple times and I haven't seen them on the shelf as of lately, so I don't know what happened with that. Sunex crow's feet have served me well. I don't really have any complaints about the Sunex crow's feet, to be honest. They've been awesome to have. This is for my die grinder, the 2 tools for that. This is a Mac brake bleeding wrench. Okay, these are the extraction wrenches that I talked about a while back in a video from Matco. Not your go-to wrench for sure, as far as using it every day, because you can round things off that are perfectly hexed. But if they're already rounded, it is a lifesaver to have. Best wrenches for sure. They get into tight spots that sometimes extractors can't get into. They get a wicked bite, and then you could pull it off. Just know that when you do, you're going to be changing out that fastener. Got some distributor wrenches here. A couple of these ignition style offset wrenches, 13 millimeter and 10. Various Chrysler areas. Then I got 32, 30, 27, 24, 23, and 22 in gear wrench oversized wrenches, which you're going to run into with diesel stuff. So you're going to need some oversized diesel wrenches. And then just over here in the back corner, some AC quick disconnects. Believe I picked those up from O'Reilly's. Drawer number 3. This is kind of like the specialty socket drawer. It's got all the different stuff that we've talked about in past videos. The Snap-on 3/8 drive digital torque wrench. Love this thing. Okay, I didn't think I was going to because I didn't like it when I first got it, but as of lately I absolutely love it. Especially the fact that it does degree angle torque and things like that. You can set it down for very low inch pounds. I'll try to put a card up here somewhere for you guys to the video review that I did of that. Then I've got these. I believe these are the triple squares that I picked up recently. And these are some pretty heavy duty looking triple squares. These things are extremely nice to have, especially if you can get a good set like this. I think these are made by VIM. The sticker fell off the top, so it got tossed, but extremely handy to have for European. Then I got these GP 12 points, because like on the Jeeps, for instance, they have 12-point cylinder head bolts. You're gonna need 12-point, especially in deep. For instance, here's 13. Let's go over to the junk engine that we're gonna end up throwing away anyways. That phone never stops ringing. All right, so to give you, for instance, here's what I'm talking about. These are the head bolts. So if I take the 13, oh, it's really greasy. Is it 13? Oh, see what's happening here. That broach on there is not allowing it to go all the way through. Hang on, maybe we just gotta work it. No, for sure, for sure. See, even I can be wrong for sometimes. I had a reason for getting these. They were specifically for Jeep, and you can see the problem that I've run into. So, who knows if I'll ever use these specifically for Jeep, but on the back of some flex plates, they actually do have some 12.19 millimeters as well. God, that sucks, you know? I'm glad I actually took the time to go show you guys that. Well, that sucks. Those might have to go home now. Whatever. Rock and roll. So what else we got here? Here are the tamper torques. Now, can you use these in place of a shallow Torx bit? Yes, it's not recommended because this is all hollowed out, and if you put too much tension behind it, you're gonna damage it. The thing's gonna break into pieces. But I have used some of the smaller ones to get into some awkward spots because I didn't have any T25s in a small, and it works great for like the transmission dipstick tube bolt on the CVT, so nice to have. All right, then I got the oil filter, canister style filter sockets here from Matco. Those are nice to have, had those for a long time. I got these E-Torques from Mac Tools. I just recently had this one warrantied out, which you can see. I actually sent that back east, and our buddy Snap Mac got it taken care of for us. Appreciate it, brother. And then our other buddy, Will, JK Canvas, sent me these rib bit or spline drive sockets. These things are also handy to have. Like I said, I ran into that situation where I believe it was a flywheel that I needed spline drive, didn't have it. Now we've got it, made by Vector Tools. These are just some Allens from Cornwell, SAE, and Metric. Super handy to have. I've used the crap out of those. I've got the Torx bits also from Cornwell Tools. And what you'll see here is this one's a lot shorter, and you're gonna wonder why. 6 liter, baby. I actually popped that sucker out, cut it in half, put it back in there just so I can get to the fuel injectors. So special tool made. All right, then we got these Husky tamper torques, L-shaped. These just come in handy for some small stuff. And then I got metric and Allen, metric and standard Allens as well. These are those specialty extraction sockets, spline drive sockets that you can get from Matco. And then I've got an impact screwdriver with the flatheads and Phillips. Rock and roll. So next drawer, we're gonna go to drawer number 4. This is kind of like my overflow pliers set. So I've got these Pelican pliers from Mac, these big old T-Rex channel lock looking ones, Pittsburgh crescent wrench, a Mac crescent wrench. Here's some Mac battery cable cutters. Those come in handy. These are actually nice for flush cutting vacuum hoses or heater hoses. These are Craftsman flat bill pliers. Some Milwaukee vice grip needle nose. These hose pinch off pliers from Mac are freaking awesome. Love those. Tool Aid wire strippers. Cornwell wire crimpers. These are some Matco spark plug boot pullers. The Matco compression hose clamp pliers. This is that Honda specialty tool with the hex nut, 10 millimeter, and flathead so you can adjust valves. Wish they had one like this with a 12 millimeter as well, because I'd probably get that as well. All right, then we have the retaining ring pliers from Snap-on. Those come in handy for certain things. Here's another self-made tool. So it used to be a small version of the tongue and groove pliers from Craftsman. I had to cut the ends off to get to a stubborn electrical connector that I couldn't pinch and pull. So I just made those, works great. And then there's the exhaust pipe cutters that Timmy got us that are gear wrench. Now here's the Cornwell snap ring pliers. Those have been nice. Liked having them. I think I did a review on it. I'll try to put a card up here somewhere to it. Next drawer, it's gonna get kind of heavy. I really don't want to pull all this stuff out. We've got the double flaring kit. Underneath that, I've got the differential bearing kit, the scrapers, the pneumatic air fan clutch wrench set, extractors for days. A lot of the stuff you guys have seen in all my videos I've done. Master rethread kit, Cummins Super Duty. That's nice to have for turning the flywheel. Pullers. And then we got this for lifting engines up, my rethread kit, the install kit, OEM harmonic balance kit. This is nice for testing leaks and hoses. Pulley pullers, turbo drill bits, bushing driver, pitman arm puller. These are the 2 fuel tank removal tools you're gonna want. There's a nylon for the nylon rings on Chryslers, and then here's for the 3-tooth style. I'll try to put links to those two down in the description for you guys. Oh, and then I got this from CarQuest before they closed, but it's the universal clutch alignment tool. Kind of nice to have. All right, and then in our last drawer here, here's that big kit that we got. I didn't have enough room for it in this drawer. And then under that is the Matco fuel pressure master kit. Craftsman compression tester. Here's that Honda special tool I was telling you guys about for the crankshaft. Cornwell coolant pressure tester. Venturi bleed. Here's the tool aid. Fuel pump vacuum tester. That's from Harbor Freight. Leak down tester, and then exhaust pressure tester under that. Plug offs. That's pretty much it. So overall, pretty nice, pretty satisfied. Here's my my biggest ratchet that I own, which is this gear wrench, 3/4 inch. And then of course my biggest pry bar that I have, which is a Cornwell. So overall, pretty happy. What's in the cart? Well, if you guys really want to see it, we might as well take a look since we're here. Let me put some light on the situation here. Just kind of have you guys take a peek around. Nothing too special, same old tools. See anything in particular you would like more information about, let me know, but it's pretty much the same stuff, guys. I haven't really done too much with this. Always have a Slim Jim in your wrench drawer. You're gonna thank me later. But there's my wrenches, ratchet wrenches. These are all gear wrench. These are the Matco ones. Pliers. See, I got the OEM trim tool, the Matco, Torx bit drivers, screwdrivers, snap-on hook. Just a real large majority of pliers, different companies. And then here, it's pretty much just my toss-ins, hammers, hooks, hangers, punches and chisels, air tools, and nothing. All right, guys, so that'll pretty much wrap it up for the updated Toolbox tour. I know some of you guys were wanting to know. I haven't done too much more with it. I've added a few things. Everything else is pretty much the same. I'm enjoying having it. You know, it's nice to have an overflow so that way my service cart isn't completely weighed down. It makes traveling throughout the shop so much nicer, and it's easy enough for everybody to come over and grab what they need to grab and use it. So that's all I got for this video. Thanks as always for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time. Deuces.
Shut up and sit down. and sit down.
All right, what a day, what a day. Engine's in, pretty much all dressed up, for the exception of a couple of PCV transfer tubes that I have to take off the old engine. But since I already know there's a good likelihood that they're gonna break coming off the old engine because it is so old, we're probably gonna need replacements anyway, so I might as well keep it covered over the weekend for now. Still need to do the refrigerant, coolant, drain oil, put oil in. I already put a new filter on, and needs a battery because the battery's like, that's my checklist for Monday though. But she's ready to go on the market now, so just a few more little things to tidy up on Monday morning sometime. Out the door she goes. I'm beat, okay? I started to kind of record some of this, but to be honest, it was starting to get the best of me and I was getting frustrated. So I just turned the camera off and started boogieing. It's almost 4 o'clock. I'm the hell out of here. See you guys back at the house.